From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
We'll find out what's next for Red Lodge Inn after it was destroyed in last summer's flood.
We want to make sure they get a fair price for that property that's been in their family for decades.
Plus, here in Billings, flooding from record rainfall has many homeowners in the market for new flooring.
We need this, we need this, we need this, and we could use it yesterday.
And details on a fundraiser helping the families of 2 local girls pay for their medical bills. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Monday, June 12th. I'm Augusta McDonald. We begin this morning marking a difficult anniversary for our state. Exactly 1 year ago, one of the worst flooding events in Montana history hit our region. Rock Creek breaking its banks, rushing through our communities, swallowing bridges and homes, destroying businesses, and changing lives forever. But in the 365 days that followed, Montanans showed the resiliency and grit we've become famous for. Neighbors helping neighbors recover and move forward. This morning, Q2's Haley Monaco takes us to Red Lodge, where there's no vacancy for hard times.
For nearly 1 year, this property has sat mostly untouched and filled with debris, a reminder of just how devastating last year's floods were, but that soon could change. The water is long gone from the Rocky Fork Inn, but the damage remains. Trees and branches are still piled nearly to the ceiling. A home and bed and breakfast in Red Lodge lost in one night.
They lived there. They were there the night of the flood. So there's been a lot of emotions through the process too.
Courtney Long is Red Lodge's planning director and the driving force behind a plan to help turn this symbol of the devastation into something beautiful.
There are grant opportunities and options for those property owners. And so we wanted to talk to the Bastions to just give them more of an idea of what an option would be for them.
The city applied for a hazard mitigation grant through FEMA to buy the ruined inn from the property owners, tear it down, and convert it into something for the community.
A part of that program is that it would be deed restricted and it would have to be turned into open space, so a green space, a park.
Anything that we can do to improve the infrastructure of Red Lodge, I'm all for it, for sure.
Scott Nance is the manager of the nearby Beartooth Hideaway, and he thinks the city's proposal is the best case scenario given the extent of the damage to the property.
I really think that we're ready to move on from it anyway. I think, you know, the flood wasn't an easy time.
Long says they don't have a timeline yet for when the $1.7 million grant will be approved. The grant is a 75-25, meaning 75% of the project will be covered by FEMA, while the remaining 25% is covered by the city.
That is not the final agreed upon price, but that was the appraisal value. So we want to make sure they get a fair price for that property that's been in their family for decades.
Long says the Rocky Fork Inn is one of 3 properties she is currently working with, hoping to help out owners facing irreparable damage while continuing to repair the town. In Red Lodge, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Thanks, Haley. And we're highlighting more of these recovery stories tonight with a 1-hour special airing at 6 o'clock right after the 5:30 news. In troubled waters, the battle back will be front and center in impacted communities as they work to rebuild. If you can't catch the show tonight, don't worry. It will be available on the KTVQ streaming app for Roku and other devices. Restoring a flooded home is a long and expensive process. Many here in Billings are going through that right now after last weekend's record rainfall soaked entire neighborhoods. Carpet and flooring businesses say their phones have been ringing off the hook from both residents and restoration companies. Some are done with carpet entirely, deciding to switch to vinyl planking to potentially avoid the headaches of water damage in the future. Local business owners say they want to help folks as quickly as possible.
The influx is going to, put some pressure on making sure we keep all our schedules. Our installers are already out a little ways, so what it comes down to is getting it done timely so that people don't have mold and they can find relief.
That was some really bad flooding just a weekend ago now, and has lots of folks thinking about challenges that might come with more rain.
That's right, and we're not really out of the woods on all of that yet either. 56 is the current temperature here in Billings, and if you take a look at water vapor imagery, it shows you the moisture that's available in the atmosphere. So you see the whiter shaded areas from Billings to the west and south. That means there's still plenty of moisture there. Well, it's drier across eastern Montana, and that's exactly where we're looking for those showers and thunderstorms to set up over the next few days. For Billings, we'll be right on the edge of that, so we'll leave a chance of a shower thunderstorm in for the afternoon today and again tomorrow. Take a look at the rest of the extended forecast, which includes the chance of some strong to severe storms. Details on that coming up.
Okay, thank you, Ed. And thank you for being here this morning while
Thank you.
Miller's off running around on vacation.
I hope he's having a good time.
Me too. More from Ed in just a few. And happening tomorrow, former President Donald Trump will appear in a South Florida court after he became the first former president to face federal charges. This all stems from the Department of Justice's probe into his handling of sensitive and classified material after leaving office. CBS's Naomi Ruckham has the latest on the reaction to the indictment and what to expect this week.
Today, former President Donald Trump will travel to Florida ahead of his Tuesday arraignment at a Miami federal court.
The documents, whole thing is a witch hunt. It's a disgrace.
Over the weekend, Trump continued to defend himself while campaigning in Georgia and North Carolina after the Department of Justice unsealed the 37-count indictment against him. The charges, which are connected to his keeping of sensitive materials at his Mar-a-Lago home, include willful retention of national defense information and conspiracy to obstruct justice.
We did absolutely nothing wrong.
The indictment has divided prominent Republicans.
This idea of presenting Trump as a victim here, a victim of a witch hunt, is ridiculous.
Most Republicans believe that the law is used as a weapon against Donald Trump.
In fact, a new CBS News poll shows 76% of likely GOP voters said their biggest concern was that the indictment was politically motivated.
Something is out of whack. He's not the only one president that has documents.
Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says the legal process must go forward without interference.
We encourage Mr. Trump's supporters and his critics to let this case proceed peacefully.
Trump says he plans to speak from his Bedminster, New Jersey golf club Tuesday evening after his arraignment. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Protests are expected in Miami around the timing of the former president's arraignment. A new poll shows 61% of likely GOP voters would vote for Trump if the election were held today. You might be wondering why Donald Trump is the only former or current official facing charges for handling documents. Remember, classified documents were found in the possession of President Joe Biden dating back to the years after he left the office of vice president. But legal experts say a key difference may be intent and whether Mr. Trump knowingly had secret information. CNN has posted a transcript of an audio recording that is in the possession of the special counsel in which Mr. Trump allegedly says at one point, "This is secret information. Look at this." Scripps News has not verified that transcript. And to be clear, Trump continues to deny any wrongdoing. We'll continue to follow that. And in case you missed it over the weekend, one of Montana's most infamous criminals, the Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, was found dead in his North Carolina jail cell. The 81-year-old is believed to have died by suicide. Kaczynski terrorized the nation with a mail bombing campaign from 1978 to 1996. He killed 3 people and injured more than 20 others. The Harvard-educated mathematician was famously arrested in the small shack-like cabin he lived in south of Lincoln, Montana. On the other side of the world, Ukraine's military now says they've recaptured a key village from Russia. This in the Donetsk region. Over the weekend, President Zelensky said that counteroffensive and defensive actions are underway in his country. It comes as Ukraine and portions of Russia deal with the humanitarian crisis triggered by a recent dam collapse. Back here in Montana, a lot of great people around the area are doing a lot of great things. Q2's Charlie Kleps has details on the 31st annual Helping Hands Poker Run, where over the weekend, 2 families with rising medical costs were reminded they aren't alone.
When Amy Williams heard her daughter's diagnosis, she was terrified.
It was frightening. It's something you say as a parent that you could never imagine.
Her daughter Anna was diagnosed with lymphoma and has been battling the disease ever since.
Anna's doing so good. She's a fighter and she's so strong. And it's pretty amazing.
Anna is one of 2 children benefiting from the 31st annual Helping Hand Poker Run.
I was gonna wear mascara that didn't smear today, but I just am so appreciative. We couldn't have done it without the support of our community.
The other family is the Bells. Their 5-year-old daughter, Malin, was diagnosed with a brain tumor just over a year ago.
They gave us our diagnosis and said, we have 4 to 6 months.
That day was a nightmare for Malin and her family. It's something her mother, Megan, says is still difficult to talk about.
For 4 months, I couldn't talk about it. It's hard to process. I mean, no child or parent or family should ever be have to be given a prognosis of months.
But Malin is a fighter. 10 months since her diagnosis, she's still fighting, and it's thanks in large part to events like Helping Hand Poker Run.
It's amazing. You don't realize the community you have until something this detrimental comes and happens to your family. Again, it puts you speechless.
The poker run started in Laurel at the Caboose Saloon and traveled to 4 different bars. Participants pick up a card at each location with a silent auction ending at Manny's Sunday afternoon. All of the proceeds go directly towards helping the Bell and Williams family with medical bills.
We just feel very supported and loved by our community and family and friends.
It's so hard to put into words, just knowing that there are strangers, you know, in this community who are willing to help a family out and being able to give our little girl the best life she can have.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Thank you, Charlie. And before we take a break, it's time to meet this month's awaiting child. Amanda is a 14-year-old with a big heart. Q2's Diane Parker has her story.
Last July, we met Amanda in Anaconda. She's now 14 and still loves to be around others and to be a loyal friend.
I want to be in a family because I don't want to be in group homes anymore.
We caught up with Amanda's social worker to see how she's been doing.
For the last couple of months, Amanda has been experiencing some big challenges. She's working on that, but having a loving, supportive family would help her work on that faster.
Good family looks like kind and friendly.
Amanda is a great kiddo. She will be your #1 road trip buddy. She loves music, loves singing. She is hilarious, but she's definitely looking for a patient family because she can get pretty sassy.
With Amanda's nurturing personality, she hopes to help take care of little siblings and help out with family pets.
She's friendly, outgoing. She cares about people, always asks me about if I have kids that were in her group home. She always checks in and see how they're doing. So she does, have some bonds with the other kids.
Good family to be is a nice family, a kind family, and doing activities with us.
As the need for more foster parents continues to grow, the wait time for kids to find a suitable place is also increasing.
I've spent whole days looking for a placement for a child while they're in my visitation room hanging out. We need more foster parents.
You can get started in the process to become a foster home by calling your local office. In Anaconda, Diane Parker, MTN News.